to you live from the White Picket Studios in Houston, Texas. This is the Realty Ruckus. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the real estate industry, this is the show for you. And now, your host, Alan Hernandez.
Good morning. Welcome to the Realty Ruckus.
I got worried there for a second. Were
you worried?
Because you didn't start drumming.
I got the last 3 beats in for sure.
We're good. We're going to have a good show now.
Because according to our viewers, if I don't drum, it's not a good show.
Not a good show.
That's what I've been told. So I have to make sure at least a couple beats get in there.
So we're good.
Speaking of good drumming, I went to see Black Sabbath last night.
I can tell.
Can you tell? I'm wearing the glasses in their honor because I really appreciate it.
Not because you're hurting or anything at all.
Not at all.
No.
Because I went out there and had a good time, and everyone there was wearing black. I didn't get a chance to put my emo clothes on, but everyone else did. And man, it was a great show. The lighting alone, you know, the light show that they put on.
Yeah.
That was alone worth the money. Like I can see why they've been around since the 70s and people. I mean, I saw people there almost at tears, like literally into the music and like like, you know, dancing and doing the whole headbang. I did a little headbanging myself. Actually, my head still hurts because of that.
Oh, that's why your head hurts. Yeah.
Alan's head hurts because he was headbanging.
Because he was headbanging.
I was, man. I got into it. I went with Claudio Ortega, and he's got the long hair thing, you know, and
whipping you with it in the face. Is that what those red marks are on your face?
Me and everyone else around us, man. No, man, it was a really good time, and for being, I think Ozzy Osbourne is like 70 years old now, and for being 70 years old, I mean, the guy can sing. You know, when you go to a good concert, when they sing, it sounds just like the CDs. You know what I mean? Like it sounds exactly the same. Have you been to a concert before where you're there and it doesn't sound anything at all like the songs they record?
Yeah, I know exactly.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
but there's a difference. I enjoy in a live performance when they do things out of the norm, but it needs to sound good. And a lot of the time you go to a concert and it doesn't even sound good. It's like, wait, what am I listening to? Is this even the same band? It doesn't sound anything like it does on the CD.
Exactly. So no, last night I'm telling you. And I don't know a lot of the songs, but I did get a chance to look up what their playlist was going to be. And
did they play like Crazy Train?
No.
Really?
Yeah, because that's
That's
an
Ozzy.
Ozzy Osbourne
That's Ozzy.
song.
That's not Black Sabbath.
What about War Pigs?
They did play War Pigs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a good one. I took a little video of that.
I love War Pigs.
I'll share it with you guys, and maybe we can throw it on the show later, so our audience can see how awesome of a concert it was. But it was cool. It was a really
So you went with 2 investor party boys, huh?
Yeah.
Who else went with you?
Ashley Patton was with us.
Yeah. Look who's missing today.
Yeah, and he's not here.
Which he is missing.
He claims he went to go play golf instead.
Yeah. Supposedly
Quote,
he has
unquote.
some charity golf to play. Those things start early, so if he's as hurting as you are.
He was supposed to be up at 7 a.m. to go to the charity golf thing over at Lifestyles. So therefore, he is missing from the show today.
And you know what? We have a great show lined up today. We're going to talk about the election, and I know Ashley would have loved to chime in on that.
Oh, man, it might be a good thing he's not here. I mean,
he gets a little rowdy about that.
Things might have gotten a little out of hand.
I gotta say, speaking of the election, and since it is my opening rant, and I can say whatever I want, I have to tell you guys how disappointed I am with all the people that are out there clogging up the streets and even like turning protests into riots and this and that.
I couldn't agree with you more, man.
Like it really annoys me that they're protesting something that first of all can't be changed, because like you're not gonna like undo the voter, you know,
unless the Electoral College puts Clinton in.
I mean,
which
December 19th.
Like, absolutely unprecedented.
Like,
I mean,
that
in the
would
history of the United
insane.
States.
I don't think it's possible, but who knows? But you know, I feel like most of these people that are out there now complaining probably didn't even vote. Or why weren't they out on the streets before everyone voted, trying to get people to vote?
You know, and that's one thing we want to look at in the next segment is how did Trump win, and what forced him to be, not forced him, what caused him to be the next president of the United States, and where did Hillary go wrong? And a lot of this lies on the fact that Hillary just wasn't reaching out well to voters. Her turnout was really low, and we'll talk about more about that coming up. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah, so now they're out there complaining, and I read something or saw something about someone flipping a car or something.
That's crazy, man. Like destruction and rioting doesn't go anywhere.
Do they really think that that's gonna help? Like, is someone up high gonna look down and say, "Oh, we have burning cars now. Let's just switch Hillary out."
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
that does absolutely nothing.
It's ridiculous. So if you're participating in that, please get a life and or a job, and or listen to us. You can come listen to the Realty Ruckus, and we'll show you how to make money in real estate. How about that? We got a little bit of a better option. We got to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. We got a great show planned out for you guys. Stay tuned.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on YouTube and Facebook, where we can answer all of your questions live on the air. If you'd like to call into the show, 832-790-2578. We got Brandon screening calls today, 832-790-2578. You can also text into the show at 832-790-2578. But for now, we want to get a little update and find out, David, how's the weather going to be this weekend?
Guys, after a post-election craze, the weather is treating us beautifully. It's going to be in the mid-70s today with a low of 58, and it's going to stay the same throughout the weekend. So it's going to be a great, beautiful weekend. Make sure to get outdoors. Shake off all the hate or post-election blues, whatever you got. Just get out there, enjoy yourself.
You know, I got to tell you, it's been a crazy week. So as soon as the election was over, the next day, we got showings on almost every house.
That's so true. We really did.
Almost every house had at least 1 to 2 showings that just weren't happening the previous week. We got offers on some that hadn't gotten no offers. Not I didn't say good offers, but we got offers, and that wasn't happening the previous week. And I got to say, I mean, I think it was a good thing that we got past it. Everyone was stressed out about it. Everyone was worried about who was going to be our next leader. The country has decided, all right, and now people are out there rioting and whatnot. But that's it. To me, it's a done deal. We got to move forward.
Yeah, it's a done deal.
Now, let's talk a little bit about why Clinton lost, because
why we think Clinton lost.
Why we think Clinton lost, and we look at it in terms of marketing and some other things that you guys brought up. So let's bring some of those up. Let's discuss some of those and how it relates to our businesses and what other people are doing out there. Because at the end of the day, it's all relatable. It's all the same thing. How do you reach out to people, or how do you not make a connection with people?
Yeah, so what's really interesting to me about this election is that if you look at the numbers, and this is just pure data, Trump didn't necessarily win the election. Hillary lost the election. And what you have to look at is the numbers in terms of previous voter turnout from the last two elections and how they compare to this election.
Didn't she win the popular vote, though?
She did. She
won
did.
the popular vote.
And that's happened a lot in the past. Not a lot, but it's happened. It's not uncommon for someone to win the popular vote.
That's part of why people are complaining right now.
Yeah, but I mean, you can go back. Gore Bush was the last one where Gore won the popular vote but lost the election. Now, he lost it in the Supreme Court, not in the same way, in a landslide on the electorate, but it doesn't matter. What we're talking about here is the fact that Hillary Clinton was unable to bring in all those voters. You go back to the first Obama win against McCain, and it was a landslide. I mean, he had about 7 million more voters come out and vote for him than Hillary had in this election. And even in the last election against Romney, he still had about 4 million more voters come out and vote for him than Hillary did in this election. And that's not even taking into account the votes that Hillary lost to the third party. Everyone's blaming Gary Johnson here. Gary Johnson's not to blame. He got about 3.5%, which, yes, if that 3.5% went to Hillary in every state, which is not for sure that it would have all gone to Hillary, but even if it did, yes, she would have won the election. But at the end of the day, she failed to bring voters out.
Yeah, and so why? What do you think, Alan? Why did she fail to bring those voters out?
To me, I look at it in terms of marketing, and I look at everything in terms of marketing. And before we started the show, I told you guys I wanted to talk about marketing, and you guys said, well, not everything has to do with marketing. I get that. I get that you guys think that, but in my opinion, it does.
No, and I agree with you on this point that a huge part was the marketing deal.
Yeah.
She failed to connect with those voters the same way Trump was able to connect with his voters.
That's right.
Well, and what's interesting is that Trump didn't bring out a ton more voters.
No.
He got in line with what McCain got and with what Romney got.
Mm-hmm.
The person who failed here was Hillary.
Yeah.
She failed to bring the voters out. And I think a lot of it had to do, one, her message felt cold.
Yeah.
And it felt like a very arrogant message throughout the entire election process. It was always, well, it's a given that I'm going to win. I mean, 2 weeks before the election, there was already articles out about how Hillary's camp was moving beyond the election and starting to prepare.
She was working on the cabinet.
Yeah, she was already starting to put together her cabinet.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, that's a pretty arrogant statement
to make.
That's a big mistake.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
Yeah, and while Trump is going and making all of these last-minute visits to places like Detroit and Michigan, and he's going out there and he's campaigning boots on the ground in these huge rallies, and then you have Hillary, who didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, she had, Obama went out and campaigned for her, but she wasn't reaching out to the voter the same way. The best thing that Hillary, the best speech she gave throughout the entire election was her concession speech.
Yeah.
That was literally the best speech that she gave.
The most heartfelt.
Because it felt the most heartfelt. Yeah, it felt real. It felt like, oh, this person's actually talking to me now like a human being, not like somebody who feels that they're above everybody else. And that's where I think Hillary really failed to reach the mass majority of people.
I also think she didn't do enough in the platforms where she could have done better, like, for example, social media.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of her voters were. And she didn't reach out enough, and she didn't hit the emotional chords enough, in my opinion. Look, so yesterday I had a friend come in, an old friend. I've been doing business with this guy for close to 10 years. He's been taking pictures of my flips, and then he got into mortgages. His name is Jonathan Calvin.
Yeah.
Good guy, love the guy, a genius when it comes to pictures, and now a genius with mortgages. Like, it's really impressive. And he came in and he wanted to interview me about why it's important to use social media, most importantly, Facebook Live for building a real estate business. And the one thing that we both agreed to, or that we both agreed at, is that marketing nowadays is less about asking for the sale or saying, hey, I can do this or I can do that for you, and more about creating some sort of connection, creating a scenario where you're speaking to someone, not asking them for their business directly, not asking them just for their vote directly, but creating a connection of, hey, we're alike in some way or another.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, you know, he asked me why do I post, you know, videos of me going out biking or going out and doing things with my kids or whatnot. And it's because of that. It's because if someone wants to do business with me personally, I want them to know that I'm a real person. And that's what I think Hillary failed at is, are you a real person or are you just a
politician?
That stole the nomination away from
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's I think that had a lot to do with it. We're running out of time here, I know, but a lot of it had to do with people felt that they couldn't trust her.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the major.
The trust factor was huge in this election, and I feel like a lot of those people that are probably out protesting right now are the same people that didn't even get out to vote. And that's what drives me crazy.
That's what I said.
If you're going to get out and protest, then you should have gone out and protested by voting, and then the election would have gone a different direction if all those people had voted.
Yeah.
But she failed to get the votes, and that's it. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And when we get back, now that we know who's going to be our president, we want to jump into his 100-day plan and see how does that look and how does that affect business and real estate. So we'll look at that when we come back from the break.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you're interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service and an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, where you can chat with us during the show. Right now, we're actually chatting with a few of our viewers to speak. Also, if you want to call into the show, 832-790-2578, 832-790-2578. You can also text the show at that same number, 832-790-2578. Now, before the break, we were talking about how Donald Trump won the election and really truly how Hillary Clinton lost the election. And now that's a moot point.
Yeah.
We're not here to protest the election. We're not here to say, oh my God, we don't want it. Somebody go and do something crazy like impeach Donald Trump. I've already seen that. It's like, impeach him for what? He hasn't done anything illegal.
Wait, I saw something crazier than that. I saw something even crazier than that.
Yeah.
There was some girl, lady or whatnot, that went on Twitter and said, well, it's time for a good old-fashioned assassination. That's literally what you put.
Oh, I saw that. That's the dumbest thing.
And I want to tell
do.
you guys, I know that we have freedom of speech, and I support freedom of speech, right?
Yes.
But there are some things you just don't say, or that maybe you shouldn't be stupid enough to say it.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she has like a little like visit here soon.
Yeah, you implied a threat against the president-elect.
Yeah.
I mean, freedom. See, there's a difference though. Freedom of speech gives you the right to say whatever you want. But if you push people into doing things that are illegal, so if you say like, "Hey, we hate this. Let's all go out and break into buildings and then people start breaking into buildings, you're now accessory to a crime.
Yeah.
Because you're the one who incited that crime. So yes, you have freedom of speech. You can speak about the things that you care strongly about. It's one thing to say, I hate Trump, but it's another thing to say, hey, somebody should go out and kill Trump. That's very different. Those are two completely different things, and one of them's not okay.
No, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's on like some list now and maybe get stopped at the airport a few times. Maybe you know what I mean?
That's how you make the do not fly list real quickly.
really quick. Yeah, please don't go out there and say something that's silly, you guys. I mean, it doesn't help anyone. That's what I don't understand is like, all right, fine, you didn't agree with the way that America voted. Now you want to sit here and complain and cry. It's not going to help, and it's not going to do anything for the people that you're trying to support.
Absolutely.
It's not going to do it. I mean, and if you think, making silly threats like this, I know it may just be some silly words on Twitter, but it's not. It's more than that. You're misrepresenting the people that you're trying to protect. It's making everyone in that group look bad.
Yeah, and I mean, for those out there, here's what you can do that is smart. Right now in the Realty Ruckus, we're going to go over the 100-day plan with you guys. And what you can do is support the things that you find logical and reasonable and speak up against those things that maybe you don't find as logical and reasonable to you.
That's how you make changes. You don't make changes by going and flipping over cars and destroying public property and private property. That's insane. So I want to jump straight into it, guys. This is from his 100-day plan. This is what he released right before the election, and now he's starting to move forward on it. So I want to go first. First one, he wants to propose a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. What do you guys think about this?
I don't see why that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I agree as well.
Yeah,
I know, for instance, the Senator Shelby from Alabama, how long has he been in the Senate?
Oh, yeah, man. It's crazy.
These guys are there 30 or 40 years racking up these paychecks. Mm-hmm. They rarely work. And then afterwards, they either become a lobbyist or they sit and collecting that check for the rest of their life.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And Senator Mitch McConnell is the perfect example of why term limits should exist.
Amen.
Because his answer, his response to Donald Trump saying he wanted to propose these term limits was, and I quote, "I would say we have term limits now. They're called elections." That's his quote. Yeah. No, elections are not the same as term limits. Why? Because you keep running as the incumbent, and a lot of times these guys don't even have an opponent running against them.
Exactly.
Because they're like, what? How can I ever win against the guy who's been in the seat for the last 30 years?
Yeah. His name has become synonymous with that congressional
position.
district
Yeah,
or
exactly.
position, whatever it may be. So the reality is, more than likely, this is not going to be enacted. Why? Because you're asking the people whose offices you want to cut into terms to vote for that. That's not going to happen.
Exactly. I mean, this is like a lot of people don't realize that the most recent constitutional amendment to be passed was passed by the House. I mean, by Congress. And basically, what it says is Congress is allowed to make raises for themselves whenever they see that a raise is fit.
Yeah.
And how were they able to pass that law? Well, duh, they passed their own laws. They're not going to pass a law that says, hey, by the way, let's pass a law that says we won't all have jobs after 8 years or 12 years, however long
whatever
the term limits might be. I don't disagree that term limits should be longer than the presidency. They could be 12, 16 years.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
There should be some limit where, okay, you've been in here long enough, you've given as much as you can. It's time for you to mentor somebody else and bring in a new generation so that we constantly have new generations coming in and moving the government forward. So I'm all for it. I don't think it's going to happen because the president doesn't have that power.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to know what our viewers think of all these things. And I know
definitely.
I know not everyone has the possibility to just sit here and type your thoughts. So as we're going through these, if you guys out there that are watching agree with what we're talking about, please make sure you hit that like button. Just hit it a few times or however many times you want. If you guys don't agree, it's okay for you guys to literally hit
that
do not
little
like.
angry
one.
That's
angry
fine.
face button.
You don't have to agree with us, and you don't have to agree with anything we're saying, but let us know. We want to know what our audience thinks. We want to have an engaging conversation.
Yeah, and guys, you got to remember, views can change over time. So just because we agree with something now doesn't mean we won't agree with it or disagree with it later if it changes. You know, things that these small nuances always change, and this 100-day plan is not going to look anything like it does now when he actually starts to enact his 100-day plan.
Here's the deal, and we talked about this before the show started. We said, all right, what maybe he doesn't realize is that he's going to come in on day one, and they're going to hand him this stack of like 1,000 papers, documents, and things that he has to do, things he has to take care of before he even gets to the chance before he even gets a chance to actually start working on the things that he wants to work on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be just, let's go in and start making things happen. It's going to be, hey, I got to do some house cleaning first.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's got a lot of housekeeping to do. I mean, and if you saw the way that he looked yesterday when he met Obama, they actually had body language experts go out and analyze his body language. And they said, the position in his hands, they called it the downward prayer position.
Yeah, he had his hands like
where
this.
his hands were in a steeple position, but he was holding them down, and between his knees, he had his legs rested on his arms rested on his legs, and his knees were pushed together closely.
Does that mean he was nervous?
Well, his body language, according to the body language expert, is saying that he had just received news on something that worried him or something that shocked him, and that's not unexpected. This is somebody who's never been in government before. All of a sudden, they go and they're meeting with the president on a daily basis now, getting all of the same briefings that the president gets of the most inner deep security of the United States. So when you start hearing about all the stuff that we don't hear about as a general public, yes, you probably will have a little doo-doo in your pants.
Yeah,
my wife
all the
time.
There's a reason that Obama and Bush and Clinton
aged so much.
all went in, and when they came out 8 years later, they looked like hell. I mean, they looked like they'd aged 30 years in those 8 years.
I was going to say Clinton for sure, and
well, you're thinking of Clinton now.
Look at him now.
Oh, man. He looks. He doesn't look all there now. You're right about that.
at least a couple loose screws in there, man.
Yeah.
Did you see him bouncing around the balloons?
Yeah, he looks so excited, like he'd never seen a balloon before.
Balloons, yay!
Yeah. Right. So the second one on the 100-day plan is a hiring freeze on all federal employees to reduce the federal workforce through attrition. So basically, let people retire and go away in the federal workforce, and that's how it gets cut down.
Yeah.
One thing I actually found out during my IRS audit is that that's already a point in the IRS. So the IRS hasn't hired any new auditors, at least not here in the Houston area, which is one of the largest metropolitans in the United States. And it's because they're trying to reduce their labor force because their budgets got cut so deeply that they can't afford to continue hiring. Now, the one that's not going to happen, and this is crazy because you have 2.75 million people who work for the federal government, right?
Yeah.
593,000 of those are federal postal service workers.
Yeah.
Now, again, just like we were talking about Congress before, way back when, back in the 20s, the Federal Postal Service passed an act that said we can't be dissolved.
Yeah.
So good luck dissolving that and putting a hiring freeze on something that's already been passed through Congress almost 100 years ago.
Yeah.
That's going to be really, really difficult. And good luck trying to just stop federal hiring altogether. That's going to be really difficult.
By the way, that's why when you go to the actual USPS office and try to send out a package, first off, you stand in line for 2 hours. The lady at the counter, the lady at the counter is usually rude to you. She's like, "What do you want? Where are you sending it to?"
Is in between cigarette breaks?
Yeah, in between the cigarette break. I'll be right back. Right? Because they're not worried about their jobs.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They know that they're going to have a job forever.
Yeah, I mean, federal jobs are I hate going to federal places like the post office. I hate going to court. It always feels like everything happens so slowly. There's zero sense of urgency. So while I'm all for reducing the amount of workers and the amount of waste, because I feel like there's a ton of waste in the government, I just don't see the president having that much power around this again. This is one of those issues that he's really going to have to bring a lot of members of Congress together to be able to make this happen. And I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Try telling these people in Congress that they have to cut 10 of their staffers out. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be like, no way.
Right.
I don't like that law. That means I have to work more.
Or chairs of certain committees. You know, the chairs of committees that oversee these, these different bureaus or whatever it might be, the departments.
Yes.
They're not going to want to cut funding or jobs or whatever it might be to those departments. So he's going to have an uphill battle here as well. Although I do agree there is waste and overspending in a lot of these departments, and they should be reduced. I just believe he's going to be met with resistance.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of resistance, this is one that I think that he will be met with some resistance as well. Although now that he holds Congress as well, it may change. But he wants to put a requirement that for every new federal regulation, you remove 2 existing federal regulations. So in other words, they want to reach a point where you get rid of government regulation, right?
Yeah.
And so part of that starts with the EPA, which they're trying to dismantle the EPA. And then there's also, he wants to get rid of Dodd-Frank. Now that actually
this is the
has
one
a
that's
major
interesting to me
impact on real estate.
Because we're going to see some impacts in how we run our business. When Dodd-Frank came into the industry, everyone was worried about it. Everyone disliked it. Nobody liked the fact that we were now being regulated on the investment side, on the lending side. All of the people that were out there doing owner finance encountered some really, really difficult scenarios. There was some lawsuits that went through because of it. Some people lost a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
And you had to basically add a whole tier of protection on your documents and the processes that you were doing just to make sure.
Yeah, you had to have all the truth and lending disclosures.
Right. And it also established the CFPP. It also established that, which to me is fantastic. That's
that is a good thing.
Have.
Yeah.
So this one actually worries me a little bit because I'm all for deregulating certain things, but this came about because of what happened.
Yeah.
This wasn't brought about because somebody said, oh, we think we might need to regulate this just in case. No, we had the second largest financial collapse in the history of the United States happen, and they said, okay, well, now we need to do something to prevent this from ever happening again. Yeah. And that's why Dodd-Frank came into play. And while it's very, very strict, and maybe some of the things can be loosened, I don't think that a complete repeal of Dodd-Frank is the answer.
No, I actually think that's going to hurt us down the road, and it will hurt the consumer, not the actual banking industry as much.
Oh, and as investors, another mortgage collapse, that's actually plays in our favor. That's more distressed homes that we can buy all over again.
Exactly.
But for the consumer, it's very bad.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like Vanessa, my wife and I, we were sitting down, we were looking over this plan, and there's a couple of things in this 100-day plan that we're worried about. Mostly, has for us, it has to do with immigration, because we still have family members and distant family who is still going through the process of legalizing. So that's the one thing that we're really worried about. But the other thing is, how are these things that he wants to change going to impact our business? But most importantly is, where is the opportunity? And I think that's what everyone should be focused on, because yes, there's going to be changes. Yes, if we get rid of Dodd-Frank, things are going to happen. There's going to be a potential set of people who are going to need to potentially sell, liquidate, whatever. And you, as a realtor, as an investor, as someone who's in the real estate industry, should know that subgroup is going to need help. Yep. And you're going to be able to capitalize from it by helping those people.
Yeah.
So we got to take a quick commercial break, but as soon as we get back, we'll continue going over the 100-day plan. Don't forget to let us know your comments, questions, concerns down below. You can also call in. We'll be right back.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service and an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you comment, we can chat with you live on the show. You can also call in at 832-790-2578. Again, that's 832-790-2578. And if you want to text us, you can also text us at the same number, 832-790-2578. Now, right now, we're going over the 100-day plan that Trump has proposed, and this was prior to his presidency, so things may have changed since then, and especially after he sat down and met with Obama and realized how difficult it is to run a government, things may have changed a little bit more.
The memes are the best. Have you guys seen some of those memes?
No, I haven't. I wish.
Obama and Biden in a limo driving over to meet Trump, and there's Biden, and he's like, hey, if he says something stupid, I'm just gonna knock him right in the face. and then Obama turns around and is like, shut up, Biden. Like, those are the best, man. Check out, just if you get a chance, look up Biden Obama memes. They are hilarious. Our viewer said that the DMV was one of the ones that
the DMV is terrible.
That he hated going to. We were talking about like how it feels to walk into any government agency.
Yeah, and obviously the DMV is a local government issue, but it just shows you that there's waste at every level. Yeah. And whenever there is no metrics to meet, like the DMV, they would say, hey, if you got to process at least 100 people a day, those people will be working a lot faster. But because they don't have those metrics, it's like, all right, next in line, let me take my time. So, yeah, I don't disagree with reducing that kind of waste.
Hey, one of our viewers, Rudy Martinez. What's up, Rudy? Haven't heard from Rudy in a while, man. Thanks for joining us today. He says, how do you think raising interest rates will affect investors using hard money?
So I don't know what effect.
That's a cool question. I like it.
You know, absolutely. And like one thing that you have to realize is that right after, and I didn't even see this effect coming, maybe for guys like Jason Bible who've been in trading saw this coming, but the day that the stock market collapsed during the election, a lot of it was bonds that were being sold off, like government bonds. And so what that caused is the yield rate to go up on those bonds, which increased interest rates. So right now already, interest rates have risen about a 0.25 percentage point without the Federal Reserve having to do anything with that. So, and they're expecting that to rise at least another 0.25 percentage point. And on top of that, the Fed is supposed to raise interest rates coming in December, which is going to keep continuing all the way through January is what they're suspecting. So we're looking at a pretty significant rise here in interest rates. It could rise over an entire percentage point here in the next 2 months. So yes, interest rates I think will have a major effect on retail consumer buying. I don't know how much of an effect it'll have on hard money unless interest rates start to rise so high that they're starting to hit those hard money rates. So if you start seeing interest rates in the 8% range, which is not unheard of.
Yeah, it's happened before.
It's happened before.
It's gone way above that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say in the late 80s, it was all the way up to like 18, 19% interest to buy a property. So if they raise up that high, well, yeah, of course, hard money is going to have to follow along with it.
Yeah.
Because even though hard money is not pinned directly the same way that mortgages are, at the end of the day, it's still backed by some financial institution somewhere who's leveraging that money. Someone's making a deposit and leveraging.
I see it another way. So the question is, will interest rates go up? And the answer is yes, without a doubt. So let's just get that out of the way real quick, because I get a couple people every once in a while, or I listen to people chatting about it, and it's like they're arguing on whether they're going to go up or not. And the answer is it doesn't matter who you are and what you think. Interest rates are going to go up. There's just no other other way to make this work without them
Yeah.
going up. How it affects us is in several ways. One, it affects the buying ability of the market. So if interest rates go up, like you guys said, 2 to 3%, that's a different mortgage payment for the average buyer.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're if interest rates rise from right now, people are getting, I see like 4.5% is what I'm seeing a lot.
Yeah.
If that goes up to 7%, their buying power gets cut down almost in half.
Yeah.
So you're talking about them being able to afford maybe a $400,000 house right now.
Yep.
But if they go up to 7%, 7.5%, now you're looking at, instead of a 400, you're looking at a 200 or 300.
That's right.
Or even a 150 to 200. It lowers their buying power significantly.
That's right. Now, to answer your question clearly, Rudy, hey, the thing about hard money lenders, and for those of you out there that don't know what hard money lenders are, take a minute to Google it. It's a great tool to have as an investor. So if you've never ever heard of buying investment properties, you want to look into it. You want to learn about hard money. You want to make sure that it's something that you can use. It's a high interest rate short-term loan that allows you to both have the money to buy and renovate a property. Most hard money lenders give you up to 100% of the funding as long as it meets their criteria, which is usually 70% loan to value. So as long as your deal meets that 70% loan to value, they'll give you the 100% funding. Now, how is it going to affect interest rates? Well, a lot of the hard money lenders are using bank funding to lend to people like you and I, Rudy. And if banks interest rates go up, if the bank right now that's lending them at 6% and selling it to you at 13%, if they go up to 8 to 9 or 10%, then obviously that reduces the spread for the hard money lender. And two things will happen. They will either try to raise the rates on people like you and I, which will keep or reduce our ability to buy, invest through that avenue, or they'll just simply fall apart because they won't be able to maintain the spreads.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see some hard money companies closing potentially unless they literally are using their own money, which most of them aren't.
Well, not even necessarily closing, but having to raise the rates. I mean, they're going to have to raise the rates.
You can raise rates, but only to a certain amount, though. You know, there is regulation in place that keeps you from charging more.
Well, that's usury.
So
but at the same time, if the prime interest rate's going up, usury goes up.
Yeah.
So hard money lenders, they can always keep increasing with the prime.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would just be them paying a lot more in interest rates. It wouldn't be them necessarily shutting down.
Essentially, it's gonna end up being the same for the consumer. So whether you're an end buyer looking to move into the house and live in it, or you're an investor looking to buy a house to flip or buy a house to rent out, if interest rates go up, it just means your buying power becomes less and less.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And as an investor too, because if you're paying 22, 23% interest, you're going to have to float those holding costs, and that gets pretty expensive. Exactly. I want to jump back into the 100-day plan here.
Yeah, thanks again for shooting us that question, Rudy.
So the fourth one on here, and it goes fourth and fifth and really sixth, is they all kind of tie together. One is a 5-year ban on White House and congressional officials becoming lobbyists after they leave the government. And then it goes also into a lifetime ban on White House officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. And then finally, a complete ban on foreign lobbying raising money for American elections.
Yeah.
So I'm with all of those.
Yeah, me too. It's hard to disagree with any of them.
Yeah, those all make a lot of sense. I mean, you don't want the same people. You don't want the revolving door. People who are already in the government, they know the ins and outs of everything, and then they go out and now they're bringing in a bunch of money from corporations to all these top-level officials who they're all friends with and saying, hey, if you pass this law, then I'll get you this amount in funding for your campaign.
Yeah.
And then going out to foreign companies and saying, hey, China company, blah, 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 or Russian company, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter whether they're our allies or not.
Yeah.
And raising money and putting that towards campaign contributions, all of that does need to get cut out. And I do agree with that.
Yeah, I agree on all 3 points. The ban on the lobbying, the lifetime ban from lobbying on the foreign governments, and then banning that influence basically on foreign lobbyists from coming into the U.S.
Yeah.
I agree on all points, but again, it's going to be the same as those term limits. You're not going to tell Congress to basically impose a ban on themselves to go take a very cushy lobbying job after they don't get elected again or whatever it might be, because those jobs pay extremely well.
So one thing that on that one, an executive order can actually ban that, but the problem with an executive order is it's not permanent, right? It's not law. It's in place until another president cuts it down. So what he's trying to do is actually pass the law, and I think that's where David is saying that's the difficulty there, is actually getting that law passed, because you're getting somebody to vote against things that benefit them in the future.
Benefit them hugely.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we get into after that he gets into a lot about.
I do want to say one thing. Let me interrupt you real quick, because the one thing that I think Trump did right in his campaigning is letting people know that he was going to quote unquote clean up government.
Yeah, what does he call it? Drain the swamp. Drain the swamp. Yeah.
And this is where I see that doing something like this would be beneficial for everyone, for every one of us. But in this case, I see why people would have really agreed with his stance on this, and where Hillary failed in not trying to go out and do some of the same things.
Well, and because people viewed Hillary as part of that problem, as part of that establishment.
And she very much is.
Yeah. And a lot of these people are waking up that there's this elite that are basically patting themselves in Washington.
Yep.
And it's, we're not going to ever see any benefit from the laws they pass. So, yeah, it is time to get them out. I agree with that part. For sure.
Yeah, no, the draining the swamp is a very true idea. It's going to cost a fortune to do so, but I don't disagree with it. Now, what I want to jump into is, obviously, he's really big on getting rid of NAFTA. He wants NAFTA to be gone. He wants to withdraw from NAFTA.
Yeah, he's got the 7 actions to protect the American worker. Yeah, the first one is to renegotiate or withdraw from NAFTA.
Yeah, withdraw or renegotiate NAFTA. Man, that could be very problematic.
Yes.
Because it's not something that you just say, okay, I'm out, and then that's it. I mean, this has worldwide financial implications. Now, whether you agree with NAFTA or not, I don't want to get into that. It's the implications of withdrawing from an existing trade agreement that's in place currently, and that's where you start to get into a lot of difficulty, because I want to make sure and get into it, but this is like a lot of the other programs. For example, the defunding and removing Obamacare. That's so deeply ingrained in the American society already that it's going to be something that's very hard to pull away.
Yeah.
If you remove it, now you have all these broken pieces everywhere, and you have to fix them. So
I'll tell you, I'm not a fan of Obamacare, and you guys know why. And a lot of it has to do with that I had a bad experience with trying to take my kid to a doctor here recently. And seeing what Obamacare really was, which was a bunch of you know what.
Well, the problem with Obamacare is this: if it benefited you, it benefited you, and if it didn't benefit you, it didn't benefit you.
So you didn't buy in.
So
it didn't benefit us as No,
as a company, not at all.
At all.
We used to have a great group plan that was very affordable for us and all of our employees. And unfortunately, after Obamacare, those rates tripled, and we were no longer able to afford that group plan.
We couldn't offer it anymore.
Yeah, but
crazy.
this is where my problem is. Okay, so fine. Whether you like Obamacare or not, what they're trying to do is remove it all, right? And gut Obamacare from the core. But you have 21 million Americans that signed up for Obamacare. A lot of those people, like you and me, used to be on a group plan.
Yeah.
We don't have those group plans anymore. So you signed up for Obamacare. Now, what happens when, cut Obamacare out? You're already past the enrollment dates for all major insurance companies. So you're talking about February, March of next year.
Yep.
So you're going to have 21 million people that have no insurance. Okay? And creating HSA accounts that are rollover and that don't end after a year, that's not a solution. Because when you still go to the doctor, one thing about having insurance is you get a negotiated rate and you get a lower price on all healthcare across the board. If you don't believe me, go ask your doctor next time you go for a receipt that shows this is the negotiated price. This is what I normally charge. $300-400 an hour. I negotiated with the insurance companies where I only charge them $65 an hour, and so your copay is $20 bucks, $25. Now the problem is when you go in with an HSA and you're paying as a cash retail client, you're paying that $300.
You're paying the big boy price.
Yeah, you're not getting that negotiated rate.
That's absolutely right. The thing about Obamacare is I know that it doesn't work. I know it doesn't work for us, but I do think it can be fixed, and I'm not sure that just cutting it out completely is the best way to go, because you have to build something up. You still have to restart, and I don't know if restarting is the best idea. I do think it has to change, but I think it can be maybe just
there's
going to
have to be a workaround or a revamp. Dismantling it completely and trying to give everyone an HSA, that's not an answer. You're really hurting the average American at that point.
I like the idea of HSAs, by the way, and it just allows you to pay for your own medical cost and save on taxes. If you guys have never looked into those, definitely look them up. But we got to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll finish off this list. Stay tuned.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you're interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube, where if you comment, we will talk with you live on the show. If you want to call into the show, 832-790-2578. Again, that's 832-790-2578. You can also text us at 832-790-2578. Now, we were talking about Trump's 100-day plan, and obviously this is a lot longer than a 1-hour show where you can get into Trump's 100-day plan. Mm-hmm. But we just wanted to give you some ideas of the things that he's talking about on his 100-day plan and let you know that whether you agreed with everything that he did during the campaign trail or not, there's something for both people. There's something on both sides of the equation here. So you may not, I don't necessarily agree with everything he did on a campaign trail. And I'll tell you, I was definitely not a supporter of Donald Trump during the election, but not everything is horrible. So I think it's important for people to get out and educate themselves and know I agree with these things, I need to support those things, and I disagree with these other items, and I need to voice my concern for those items going into effect and being passed. And that's how you can enact change.
That's how you can help. Going out there and protesting right now, flipping over cars,
and just asking for
you're not doing anything.
Outrageous things like impeaching Donald Trump. Okay, everyone sign some online petition. Ooh, 900,000 signatures. That doesn't do anything.
As you want. It's still not going to help you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go out there and educate yourself. I guarantee you the vast majority of people that are out there protesting and the vast majority of people that are out there rioting, I want to say that the grand majority of the people that are rioting, because that's just absolutely absurd and ridiculous, have no idea what's even on his 100-day plan.
Yeah,
they're
or
so
how it
uneducated.
will affect everyone. How it will affect small businesses. Now, in terms of being a small business owner, and most agents that watch our show are, you know, first off, everyone that watches our show is in real estate at some point, you know,
or in some way,
investor, lender, realtor, you name it.
Buyer, seller.
Hopefully, all of you out there are working on making more than $250,000 a year, because you should be, and if you're in this business, you certainly can, and you know there are some tax reliefs coming to you if you make that kind of money and you have a small business. So there's some good things about his policy.
Oh yeah, I like his tax plan to remove the 7 brackets, make the 3 brackets. He also wants to lower corporate tax rate from 35% down to 15%.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with that because history shows that doesn't actually increase the economy.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. There is some really good parts to the things that he's asking
If you're
for.
building a business and you're a small business right now, you have 4 years of potentially being able to build a little bit faster than you usually would. The thing that people are upset about mostly is immigration, which I get it. I'm an immigrant myself. My family all migrated here. I get it. I understand it. But I don't agree with the way that people are going about trying to make change.
Yeah.
And that was the entire point is, yes, you can protest, you can't riot, you can protest, but do it
in a civil
manner and be educated about it and do it, not reactively but proactively.
Yes.
Right now that's what we're doing. People are out there are reacting to what the United States decided to vote for, and you can't do that. That's why we have a democracy.
Yeah, stop reacting, get off your butt, and do something about it if you feel that strongly about it.
Exactly.
And that's the way we're all empowered in America, and thank God for that.
No, and if your candidate loses because of a low voter turnout, you have nobody to blame but yourself.
Exactly.
Because if you really cared that much about that candidate, you'd have been talking to everyone you know and making sure that they get out and vote, and not carrying an arrogance about you saying, well, it's a definite that I'm going to win, so who cares about getting out and voting?
I saw people on Facebook saying that they weren't going to go out and vote, and I wish there would have been like a slap you in the face button. I wish I could have pressed that a few times. Anyway, we got to wrap up our election conversation because we have some amazing events coming up that we want to talk about. We also
Absolutely.
We also want to keep everyone updated on things they can go out there and do and participate in to grow their businesses, because that's what we're all about. So what do we have coming up? First off, do we have any good football games this weekend?
Yeah.
That we should be watching?
Yeah, let me talk about the events.
Let's talk about events.
Let's end on the high. I like ending with football.
You want to end with football? I like that idea.
Our friends over at Capital Concepts, coming up on the 17th, they're going to be having a lunch and learn. I think they're going to have a guest speaker there. So, and by the way, guys, this is all on the Houston Real Estate Events page. So check that out. We have all these events listed and their RSVP links, as well as the flyers the companies themselves put out. So Capital Concepts is hosting a lunch and learn on the 17th. Or on the other side of town, as Alan likes to call it, Timbuktu, up in Kingwood, Eric Maya with Premier Nationwide Lending. He's going to be hosting a goal-setting workshop for your business. This is also going to be a lunch and learn, and I believe that's going to be at Los Cucos in Kingwood. So that's going to be another great one.
And these are all free events as well.
By the way,
only free events on the page.
If you haven't sat down and created your goals for the next year yet, right now is the time. Not next year, but now. So you start working towards your goals that you're setting day one. You don't want to start late and be late. So definitely try to make it out to events like Eric Maya and his team who are putting this up graciously. They're not charging anything. They're just really there to help you and
they're passionate about it.
Yeah. And we love partnering up with people like them and working to help agents come to them and work with them, mainly because we know that their best interest is to make sure that the agent succeeds.
Oh, yeah.
So very good. Make sure you make it out to that. What else do we have?
And then another one we have on the 18th of November. It's going to be with Clifton Saunders and Rapid Pro Mortgage. They're hosting another lunch and learn that day.
Very cool.
So again, guys, you can find all of these events on the Houston Real Estate's events page on Facebook. Just search at Houston Real Estate Events to find out more and RSVP for these various events.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, guys, all the events on the Houston Real Estate Events page are non-paid events. And if you go on there and you want to post an event, that's fine. We have no problem with you posting events on there. But do not go on there and post a non-paid event or a paid event because it will be removed.
We had to kick someone out because of that. So, we don't want to spam our viewers. We want to make sure that we're bringing everyone good events to go
content,
to, good content, things that they can go to help grow their businesses and network, and not just, hey, here, come pay for this, come pay for this. That's not really what people want anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we got some really good events. Are there any other ones?
No, that's it for the events until at least if there's any more, I'll update them on the Houston Real Estate event.
Those are for
page.
November. I mean,
yeah, December.
Come December, we'll have a new event to tell you about.
Do you guys
every
remember
single day.
being in college and being able to go to a different event every day, so that and never having to pay for food or anything?
Yeah,
Like,
but the problem is
I remember doing that.
In college, all you get is pizza. Everyone has pizza, and I love pizza. But
How
even
come people
me,
aren't fatter in college?
Oh,
then?
are you kidding me, man? I was at my fattest ever in college.
Really?
Yeah, because all I did was eat pizza every day, man.
Because it was free.
I love pizza and it was free. What did you expect? And then that's whenever Domino's came out with the $5 mediums. That was really bad.
I was talking to another real estate agent about
remembers
this
the
the other
specials.
day. You can go to an event almost every single day in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
It's free. They provide you with food. They provide you with drinks. Yeah, I mean,
if you want to
can-
get full and you want to get liquored up for free
In
every
Houston.
single day in Houston, you could do that without spending a single dime
Yeah.
except for your gas.
you can
Yeah.
could literally live off of going to events.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Don't give these guys any ideas out there. All right. I know the shows, we're out of time, but let's go through some football real quick. As far as the home team goes, I know we have Tulane at Houston this weekend, and the
All right.
Texans are away this weekend. I believe they're playing the Jaguars, is it?
Yeah, we're gonna go whoop some Jaguar butt.
Yeah, and then my boys, they're playing the Steelers
Oh,
this
boy.
weekend.
Oh man, you got a tough
Yeah,
one coming
that's
up.
going to be a
That's-
tough.
that
That's
should
gonna
be
a
a
good
fun
game.
game to watch.
Yeah.
Alabama plays Mississippi State.
That's going to be
roll
a good
tide
one.
on that ass.
Roll
excited about that
Tide.
All right, guys, that's it for the show. Thank you very much for joining us here at the Realty Ruckus. Don't forget to hop on and join us next Tuesday at 10 a.m. We're going to continue talking about how to build your business. Don't forget to keep up your ruckus. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care.
This has been the Realty Ruckus. Make sure and join us every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. Find us on YouTube and Facebook for replays of previous episodes. And as always, keep elevating yourself and keep up your ruckus. Thanks for listening. Realty Ruckus has been brought to you by Smart Pig Media Productions.